So this week was absolutely crazy. A lot of things happened, but most importantly, there were some airdrops over the last few days. And all the losses and all the beatings that we have taken in this bear market, it really made up for it, at least on the Solana ecosystem. Now, I'm not someone who airdrop farms, neither am I someone who degens into things. I was pleasantly surprised to see that I recouped most of my losses as far as what happened with NFTs over the last couple of years on the Solana ecosystem. So that was awesome to see, and we're going to dive into that today. But also, I will share how you can check to see what you qualify for, because you might have missed the smaller airdrop, but the larger airdrop is still open for 6 months. So this week, I have to say, it's uncharted territory for me, just seeing different things that I really haven't experienced before. I've never airdrop farmed before. I have never been a part of any kind of hype machine that was like chasing anything. And I just explore this stuff. And if it turns into profits, if it turns into airdrops or whatever it is, it's cool, whatever. I didn't expect it. I wasn't chasing it. And that's no different than what happened this week. Everybody that's been on this platform should know at this point that they were the WEN token and the Jupiter token, which in the last couple days or so, both of those were released. And anyone that was dabbling with the Solana ecosystem or just exploring might have been through other platforms and didn't even know that you were using Solana, because a lot of the cool things about Solana is that they have a front end that is just very friendly for the users, and they're just using this thing. Don't even know that they're interacting with Web3, crypto, the blockchain, Solana, or anything of that nature. So a lot of people were pleasantly surprised to know that they qualified for airdrops when they didn't even know they were really dabbling in crypto, Web3, and this whole ecosystem. Even though I know I dabble in Web3, I collect NFTs, I've been on Solana blockchain, I didn't know that I was going to qualify for any kind of airdrops. The first one that I qualified for was obviously the WEN token, and that was through just interacting with Social Connector. I've done episodes already about Gary Club, the Draft Tower NFTs. I spoke to Gary Henderson. He's come on the show. Without even knowing it, I qualified for a bunch of WEN tokens. But then also when I went into my Phantom wallet, because I was interacting with Magic Eden, and of course, Solana, if you're buying NFTs, you're going to end up on Magic Eden. It's a given. That I ended up qualifying for some over there too as well. So I had one in my Social Connector wallet. Then I had some in my Phantom wallet. So without really expecting anything, I ended up with, I think, about 2 Solana worth of airdrops that I didn't even know. So then a few days later, I'm starting to get all the hype now. Everyone's talking about this next airdrop, and it's going to be even bigger, and everyone's speculating where the price is going to go and all this stuff. And again, not a trader, not someone who is chasing these airdrops and everything. I didn't really expect anything. So of course, I see where I can go to check my wallet to see what I qualify for, and boom, here I go again. I qualify for 2 more airdrops, the Social Connector wallet, and of course, my Phantom wallet. Now, if you're doing any kind of swapping in and out in the Social Connector, Gary Coin, going back to Solana, or any of the creator coins and tokens, you know that you're doing a lot of swapping. However, when you're doing some swapping in the Phantom wallet, or maybe in one of these platforms like Jupiter, you go directly to Jupiter, do the swap there, you might have not know that you were going to qualify for anything, because again, you were just doing what you normally do. You're not chasing the airdrop like myself, only to find out that you add it all up within a week, 6 plus Solana, whatever, it actually adds up to all of these different things that you're going to qualify for. And of course, I'm converting it to Solana because not everybody listening to this is going to know the price of WEN or the price of JUP, your Jupiter, JUP, whatever you want to call it, Jupiter token. It was just a shock to me that here I go. These Solana NFTs that I've been playing with took a huge hit. I came into the Solana ecosystem at the tippy top when it was 200 and plus. I went into a couple NFTs that just didn't do anything. They sputtered out. Secretly, I was doing just a little trading, a little collecting here and there, hopping into some things casually, just doing what I do, exploring the space, hopping in from project to project, testing out this protocol, this platform, this swap, DeFi, which I think is really cool on the Solana ecosystem because it basically feels like you're on a centralized exchange without all the risk of having that the gatekeeper is so quick. The Solana blockchain is moving so seamlessly. There's no massive gas fees like when you're on Uniswap or anything. Not throwing shade on that, but that's just the beast, right? That is what happens on Ethereum. There's more gas, there's more time. So the cool thing is just exploring, having the ability to be the quote unquote poor man's blockchain, if you will, and hopping into these things. You might have broke even on some of them, just getting in and out. But then you find out that just by exploring the space, you end up getting this airdrops. And that's one of the cool things that I think is just really interesting with this space is that just for exploring things, testing things out, being early into something, you do get rewarded. But the day for me was actually really stressful because, okay, here's a timeline of everything. I knew that this airdrop was coming today. I had the time set, if you will. Of course, Gary sent out the notifications. Anyone that's in Gary Club, you get that little airdrop. You said, hey, 31 Gary, it's celebration day, whatever, just airdrop's about to go live. Cool. So I knew it was coming. So I was in a space, obviously just listening to it and just hearing the guys talk. And all of a sudden, space was completely interrupted. Hey, the airdrop is live. Didn't realize, lost track of time. No, so now I rush over to the site, and you have a lot of time to claim this. I think it's open for 6 months to actually claim the token, and it's still open. The airdrop is open. However, I just know how people tend to get these things and then dump it and just move very quickly. And then once I heard that Binance was going to list it, is going to be listed on the centralized exchange, of course, the biggest one in the world, that I knew there was going to be a lot of movement and I wanted to get in there early. But this thing caused such a frenzy on the Solana blockchain that it was virtually impossible to claim. I submitted it, I would say maybe about 4 or 5 different times before it actually went through. The good thing about this is, again, I'm not losing anything as far as failed transactions or the frustration knowing that I have to wait 10 minutes, then it fails. No, this is going through fairly quickly. But of course, it was just congestion. Everybody was trying to go through the same little passageway, if you will, at the same exact time to get all this action. And I ended up getting it. I tried 4 or 5 times, but I ended up getting the token. So then I was like, okay, cool. Now I'm trying to watch it because, of course, I don't want to be the guy that just sitting here trying to be greedy, whatever, because I know, like, at the end of the day, this might not be a lot to some people. But having a few $100s, whatever it is, that's pretty cool to me. I heard some of the major people that do a lot of trading, a lot of DeFi, a lot of flipping in and out of things. They were talking about hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of tokens. I'm just happy to get a few $100s worth of tokens. And again, those of you that don't know, I stream here from Jamaica, and putting things into perspective, $1 is worth 150, 155 Jamaican dollars. So convert all of that to get into Sol, to Solana, to Bitcoin, all these different things. A couple $100 worth of any token, or in the case of this, it works out to about 6 Sol, all the different token swaps and everything. That's a lot, right? For somebody here locally. So it's pretty cool just to be in the environment, messing around with this stuff, having a good time, but most importantly, going into this and just being pleasantly surprised, not knowing that I was going to get such a cool reward. And not once, but twice, I had the Social Connector wallet, but then I also had my Phantom wallet. And again, I wasn't farming. I wasn't doing anything that was chasing whatever, right? I wasn't trying to get these airdrops. I was literally just exploring the space, having fun, seeing what was being built, interacting with creators, some people that were on the show, of course, and just curious about this space. So I was just having fun. And yeah, so it paid off. Even today, I was telling a few people about it, and now they were like, oh, well, I want to get into this thing. The cool thing is that even though you missed this one, and if you didn't qualify for it, you weren't on this ecosystem, you weren't using Solana, whatever it is, sorry, you missed the snapshot. However, there's a lot of other opportunities. There's a lot of airdrops coming, but most importantly, the platform, the ecosystem is just very cool, right? You can get in there for just a couple dollars. I don't care where you are in the world. You can literally get in there. Your currency, your local currency could absolutely be basically a poop coin because it's not worth anything on the open market globally. However, I don't care how weak your currency is. You can just come in with a couple of those dollars, whatever it is, play around because the gas fees and the exchange rates and everything is really low. So you can just have some fun. You can learn. And then just by learning with these different things, interacting with these different protocols and such, you could qualify for other airdrops. Now, as far as the title goes, of course, my NFTs paid for themselves today. It's because I came in at the top of the market, 200 and some odd Sol, as I said. So it's not like I had hundreds of thousands of dollars to come into this all willy-nilly, just buying all these big things, right? I came in and I was picking off a few here and there. I got into various ones. I'm not even going to name them because some of them just turned out to be complete disasters. But by chance that I ended up getting this airdrop, and it's just being curious. So it pays to be curious. But when you add it all up, all the ones that I actually purchased at the top, the ones that rugged or failed or stuttered, and not even necessarily a rug, they just weren't ready. The market wasn't ready for what they're trying to build. Even those, this airdrop actually paid for them, right? A lot of people, when you can convert it out to dollars, you might be saying, no, it doesn't work out. But if I denominate it in Sol, and I believe in this ecosystem, I didn't spend 6 Sol to come into everything at the top, right? That would have been a lot of money. and it would have been out of my price range. I would have been like ETH at the time because I spent pretty much all my money on ETH. When I came into this ecosystem, hit those, and I was like, you know what, like things are moving too fast over here, but I'll just explore, see what's going on. And it paid off in the end. And once you convert back out to Sol, all this exploring that I've been doing over the last 2 years or so, this airdrop really paid for that. So with that said, you don't have to be a millionaire to explore the stuff. You don't have to be a whale to educate yourself in this and just dabble in it. And again, here I am in Jamaica, on the island of Jamaica, you could say. And I'm just a regular dude that makes a podcast, right? You might hear a New York accent. You think I'm in New York, and quote unquote, people around the world will think, oh yeah, everything's great in the US. Like you guys are just flowing in funds to go buy crypto. That's not the case for most people in the States, but that's definitely not the case for me with my New York accent living in Jamaica, right? So all I'm saying is there's cool things, and we have a lot of opportunity just to have some fun, explore, and that's something that we do all the time. You listen to the podcast on a regular basis. The things that I cover are how businesses are using this technology, doing really cool things. So you might say, well, what does this have to do with anything? Why is this even on my radar? Why should I care as someone who might not be interested in DeFi? Interacting with these NFTs, a lot of them have some sort of reward mechanisms, especially within these communities. And we know there's points, badges, and all these different things to gamify engagement within communities. A lot of the times, it doesn't really make sense to do that on-chain in the Ethereum ecosystem. So that's why sometimes they go on to layer 2s. They're using Polygon, Arbitrum, Optimism, all these different ones. But the cool thing is, with Solana, everything could be done right there. You can be on the main chain. You can have the NFT project, the community. You can have all these dApps that are built on it, tokens, everything is running. So the DeFi ecosystem, everything is on that layer. So it's just that much easier. I think it's a much easier learning curve. I guess you would say an easier curve to climb to onboard somebody onto Solana. I really do. I believe that with all my heart than it is on Ethereum, because there's, again, this the price of things, right? And then also having to put all those different chains into your wallet, it gets a little bit confusing. But with the Phantom wallet, which also does support now Ethereum, Polygon, and I think even Bitcoin, they added into there recently. The Phantom wallet is just really cool, really user-friendly. I like it very much. But just by being in the Solana ecosystem and playing around with this stuff, it's been pretty cool. With that said, it's not too late. It is absolutely a great time to just hop in there and check out what's going on. Some interesting things are happening, and I highly recommend that you just get in there and just play around with some things, and with no expectations either. I'm not telling you to go chase the next airdrop. I'm not telling you to try to catch the next season or look for these airdrops and just do reckless things, because there is a strategy out there that people just are okay with losing money for the next year in a particular ecosystem, knowing that an airdrop is coming and they'll make back all the money. And I wouldn't do that personally, unless you have a lot of money to play with. But we can see a lot of these whales that got wrecked farming Blur tokens and some other people. And again, I'm not knocking it. It works out for some people. It's awesome for others. But the vast majority of people, especially if you don't have a lot of money to play with, I wouldn't recommend that. I wouldn't recommend playing with money, period, because I don't even do that. I don't play with my own money. I explore things. I stay within my means for the most part. Sometimes I do overextend myself. I won't lie. And if you've been following the show, for the most part, last year, I pulled back on what I was collecting. I wasn't diving into as many things. I wasn't necessarily exploring everything as much as I normally do from a financial standpoint. Of course, I was still down in the trenches, speaking to various teams, projects, and so forth, but I just didn't have a lot of liquidity to throw around, mainly because I spent a lot of money on Ethereum NFTs and they were tied up, and I just, number one, I was collecting them. I didn't want to sell them, especially not at a loss with the bear market. But then also, I was more so in observer mode, and I was just playing in some other areas. And Solana was one of the areas that was very attractive, even though I was on Solana before I ever bought anything on ETH, because I couldn't stomach gas fees during the first bull market, right? When everyone was going crazy on ETH and buying up those NFTs. I was playing over on Wax. I was playing on Tezos and Solana. And then I was able to stomach the gas fees for Chibis. That Chibis brought me over to ETH, really. And I've been collecting those, and that's just been one of the things that I ended up going into a lot of, and I'm not selling those, right? So even though the market was down and everything, point of all this is I was a little bit overextended last year. This year, I have a little bit more funds to play with, jump into different things, and I'll be exploring some great things. So as far as what's happening on Solana now, with this whole airdrop today, that was very interesting in the sense that for the first time, I felt like I was a trader. I felt like I was someone who is literally watching candles and doing all these different things, trying to say, what's going on? How is this LP going? Liquidity pool. Are they adding up? I'm like just watching this. And it was like a reality TV show or watching the Super Bowl or something, sitting on the edge of the seat. It was very interesting. The way that they set this thing up on their main website, they had the different pools. They're providing liquidity between 40 cents and 70 cents, and people can go in and out of this. And it was just very interesting to see each of these candles filling up, if you will, or each of these columns, these bins they're called, filling up, and you can actually see where it was moving. It was very transparent, something that we just don't see with IPOs with stocks. You don't see this sort of thing with most coins that release, right? You just have to be able to sift through what's happening on a block explorer, whatever it might be, and most people can't do that. But with this, it was very visual. You were able to see everything and you're able to track it. And then once it hit Binance, you were able to then open up, at least I did, open up multiple screens. I'm watching it on Jupiter. I'm watching it on the scans. I'm watching it in Binance. I'm seeing the different price movements. I saw there was huge arbitrage. It spiked all the way up to 87 cents, crazy enough, on Binance. And then it started to drop. And then there was a huge gap between what was happening on the swaps, Jupiter swap, and then also a bird's eye. So I was like, okay, there is a huge gap between this. Then I'm looking back and forth. I'm looking at the USDC conversion, the conversion to Sol, and it was kind of anxiety inducing, I won't lie. So that's why I don't trade. This is not the life I'm cut out for. I am cut out for collecting, buying, holding, finding value in things and things of that nature. But with this, for a day, it was fun, right? It was really cool to set my limits, my stops, and all sorts of different things. And I'm just playing around with this stuff. And again, I could afford to do that because on Solana, it's not like I was burning multiple ETH or whatever it was of gas to just be constantly going out while the blockchain was so congested that basically it was slowing down. So imagine if that happened on ETH, like these transactions, I would have been broke by now. I would have lost everything, right? Because all those things that I was putting in and swapping and doing, it just gets very expensive. So that's why I'd say it's cool to learn, explore over here in this ecosystem. And with another one coming up or other ones in the future, I think it's just cool. If you have not been on Solana, get your Phantom wallet. Now, as far as what's going forward, what will I be doing with these particular tokens? Who knows, right? I just know I'll be doing a lot more exploring, and especially now that I got my beak wet, what I'm going to do is leave a link to the official Twitter page where they tweeted out the information for the Jupiter token, because there's already a fake one that's floating around. There's a lot of fake airdrops and so forth. The official Jupiter exchange Twitter handle is one of those square companied profiles. You're going to see the gold check mark. The tweet that I'm going to share has a contract information and everything. This should line up directly with what's happening on Binance. You'll see this over on CoinGecko, CoinMarketCap, and if you go over to Jupiter Swap or the Bird's Eye, you'll see a check. This is the actual token to make sure it is the right one, because just like anything, anyone can create tokens on Solana, Ethereum, wherever else. There's meme tokens and all sorts of different things. So you want to make sure it's the right one. And this tweet has the information in it. That tweet, so you know it's coming from the official source, is going to have that information. The second thing that I will put in the show notes is a site that I found that allows you to check various wallets to see if you qualify for airdrops. This works with Solana, but also Ethereum wallets. Now, the beautiful thing about this is you do not have to connect. You do not have to log in or do anything. You just punch in either that ENS or .sol domain name or the wallet address, and it just shows you a bunch of things that it qualifies for. So in case you're wary, wondering, what exactly is this? You do not have to connect. It's just like SolScan or EtherScan. It just shows you the information for that particular wallet. However, in this case, it's searching for airdrops. So you're going to see that in the show notes as well. So if you're not someone who is really familiar or exploring the Solana ecosystem, one of the great ways you could do that is just simply by following me within Gary Club. That is really a great way to connect with various creators. I happen to use the platform, and when you log in, you set up your profile there. It automatically creates a Solana wallet. It doesn't cost you anything, but unlike Twitter or another platform, you're interacting directly with blockchain things. And in order to do that, it creates a wallet for you. And I think it's absolutely awesome. Please follow me there. Check out my profile, things that's happening there, gary.club/tropicvibes. Also, just want to let you know that does double as a referral code. It does not cost you anything. However, it's just another way of getting rewards within the ecosystem as far as sharing and bringing in your friends. You don't have to use it, but I'd appreciate it if you did check that out. Can't get any more simple than that. So that's the cool things that I like to say. What's happening over on Solana. Things are just very user-friendly, simple, easy to use. It doesn't take a lot of steps, and it's actually just fun. So hopefully you found this information helpful. Those links and information that I mentioned will be in the show notes. But as usual, I just want to thank you for taking time to listen to this as we're learning and building Web3 together. So until next time, later. The Nifty Business Arrow is not investment advice. It provides insights and information within the space. As with anything, please do your own research before making a decision whether you're making an investment or a purchase.